What is good, y'all? Today's video is going to be a little bit more somber because I didn't really want to make a video about this, but it is so important that I thought let's just talk a little bit about Bethesda being bought by Microsoft. So Microsoft spent about $7 billion with a B, dollars to buy ZeniMax and Bethesda, and I think ZeniMax is actually the parent company of Bethesda. So now basically Microsoft owns the IP made by Bethesda, like Doom and Skyrim, or well no, Elder Scrolls, sorry. And they own Prey and they own Dishonored, etc, etc. The interesting thing about that though is two of the timed exclusives for the PS5 are actually owned by Xbox now. Those two games being Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, both of which actually looks really interesting, and I hope that they still come out for the PS5. I'm seeing reports that are saying, yeah, they are going to honor the PS5 exclusives, but it also says that some future console releases will be on a case-by-case basis. And I got that from an article on TheVerge.com. I'm going to put a link to that in the description. So first off, let's talk a little bit about that. If people are thinking that the next Elder Scrolls game, or what is it called, Starlink, something like that. What is that called again? Sorry, Starfield, not Starlink, because Starlink is one of those Star Fox games by Ubisoft. Moving on. But with Bethesda having these big titles that are still yet to be fully revealed with any gameplay or hell, even any good trailers, honestly, any good cinematics, it's a question of whether these games are even going to come to other systems or if they're just going to be locked on to Xbox from now on. And I don't really think they're going to do that with a lot of games. The way I see it is that Microsoft has owned Minecraft for a long time now, and they haven't really been so, how do I say this? They haven't been really protective of Minecraft to an extent where they're just like, hey, if you want to play Minecraft, you better have a PC, a Microsoft PC, or you have to have an Xbox. And honestly, I think it would be pretty stupid of them to try and make stuff like that exclusive, because if you pay attention to Minecraft and the way that that game is on so many different platforms, not just PC and Xbox, but PS4, it's on the Switch, it's on tablets and phones, everything you can imagine at this point. And instead of trying to get people to buy an Xbox and buy a PC to be able to play Minecraft, you can own whatever system that you already have and still be able to play it just the way that you were before. The only difference is the money that you put down for Minecraft goes into Microsoft's pockets regardless of whether you buy it on PC, Xbox, PS4, Switch, whatever. So if that's the case, why wouldn't they do the same thing with Bethesda? Because these are really big titles. I mean, like, if they make a Doom 3, a Doom whatever the fuck, or Fallout 5, or you know, a Fallout New Vegas 3, which is also being rumored, or any other of these titles that are owned by Bethesda, if they make those games and they sell it on these different platforms, they get the money regardless. And that's honestly why I think that this acquisition was just so important, and why it's not a big deal that they put down like almost $8 billion for this acquisition. The way I've been seeing things go in the past couple, I want to say years, is that Xbox has been really trying to get you to buy into them as a company rather than buying their systems. And if you've been paying attention recently, with a lot of these games that are being revealed for the Xbox Series X that actually aren't played on the Series X, they're not actually using gameplay directly from the Series X. But it's like, at this point, does it really matter if you buy a Series X or a Series S, because they have Game Pass available on all these different platforms? You can play Xbox games on basically anything at this point. If you have a tablet or a phone, as long as you have an internet connection and as long as you have an Xbox controller, I don't even know if you need that at this point, but you can play Xbox games directly from your phone or tablet. You don't even have to own any type of major hardware. And that's why it's so important to understand that this is going to bring so much more value to Xbox, regardless of whether anything is going to become solely exclusive to them, or, you know, they might just make new IPs exclusive and keep the older ones just multi-platform. Man, one thing to keep in mind, and mark my words on this one, Game Pass in itself is probably going to be a huge thing going forward for Xbox, and something that a lot of other companies are going to start to adopt in the same way. Because I'll admit, I'm not in the Xbox ecosystem, but I am in Nintendo's ecosystem and Sony's PlayStation ecosystem. And literally, with the amount of games I buy for these two systems, if these two companies had the same type of model that Xbox had with Game Pass, where you can get new releases and all you have to pay is the $15 a month for it, I would be absolutely subscribed to both of those instantly. And even just thinking about how people meme and say that people aren't going to want to buy the Xbox Series X or Series S, they just want PS5s and they don't care about Xbox at all, that's honestly okay. With the way things are going, it's like when you have two $500 systems battling against each other, people can't always afford both systems. But the way that people buy Netflix, they buy Crunchyroll, they pay for these monthly subscriptions, they can afford those absolutely easily. It's easier to come up with a monthly payment for something than it is to come up with the entire lump sum at one time. And it is pretty nice to think that if you want to play these new Xbox games and in the future even these Bethesda games that are going to come out, and you don't have an Xbox and they're Xbox exclusives, then hell, you're just gonna have to boot up your phone or your tablet or your PC, just sign into Game Pass, and you have the games right in front of you. You don't have to own an Xbox. You never have to. And that's $500 you can keep in your pocket and just $15 a month that you give to Xbox. And that is so smart for both a consumer and for Xbox. But you know, they're probably going to raise the price at some point. I still think that is a possibility. That's definitely going to happen as Game Pass gets more popular, but that is something that we'll have to see in the future. So what do you guys think about the acquisition of Bethesda by Microsoft? Do you think that they're going to make any big games exclusive? Like, for example, Elder Scrolls 6? Do you think that's going to be exclusive? Because that would be huge. That would be a huge thing. That would be massive. And also, I just want to say, hopefully Microsoft helps Bethesda, because a lot of their games are really jank and have a lot of glitches and just they're not really tested very well sometimes. So hopefully Microsoft gives them the upper hand to make these games more polished. But don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter, where we can continue the conversation. And that's it for now, so I'll see you guys in the next one.